We should be live.
It says we're live.
It says we're live.
Hi.
Right here.
Oh, hey.
It says we're live.
There we go. They're going to have to suffer through a few seconds of us just looking at it.
Also, me scuttling in the frame. Like
Yep.
Scuttle.
Yep.
Scuttle.
Zoidberg.
Oh, Reed's butt. Yeah, Reed's butt right in your face. Was that Zoidberg?
Yeah.
I'm scuttling. Oh, yep, my Star viewer count just changed. See, we must actually be doing
there
something.
He is. He just scuttled on.
Yeah, I think it sounds good. I'm not going to. It's really odd listening to it.
Yeah,
while
don't
it's
do that.
being
There's like a 15-second delay.
So, okay. Well, welcome everybody to our first ever Sneak Attack podcast live
Did
stream.
you just do the thing?
What? No, I didn't.
Finger pistols.
So you'll notice that we're
Yeah.
one shy. Also, no, I was gonna say something probably racist as a joke,
Wow.
but
Just
Josh.
jumping right into it.
something about how like only white people are allowed on the couch because you just end up sitting on the chair. No,
I'm Mediterranean. Thanks, though.
sorry guys. You want to swap? You want to swap, Dan?
Now it's a pity seat.
No,
Nope.
like a white guilt seat.
Oh, gosh, that's
No.
worse. Reparations? Couch seat reparations? So Mike's not here, as you can
Yes.
tell. Mike came down with what we believe is strep throat. What he believes is strep throat. I haven't investigated personally. But so he sends his love. He might actually be in the stream. I don't know. He knows it's all happening, so he might jump in.
He might just show up late.
He might just like not here, but he might show up in the comments.
Guarantee he
Oh.
won't use his name and he'll pretend he's someone else.
Yeah.
Night Swim. That's his secret name.
It could be something else.
Just for you guys, our backers.
So okay, I believe Josh has the format, so I'm gonna let him pretty much run with it.
You're the DM now.
You're the DM now.
Okay. So you guys go ahead and start throwing us some questions. I have some questions of my own. So okay.
This turned into a talk show all of a sudden, didn't it?
No.
That means he should be there.
I know
This is
you're
a
the
talk
host.
No.
Here you go, Dan.
show. You pick the questions, Dan.
It's all you.
But yeah, go ahead and start throwing us your questions, and I will come in as we are discussing. But I thought first, this is a very relaxed environment for us to be hanging out in. First of all, we're hardly ever in video, and
Never.
this is just chilling on the couch upstairs.
Couch show.
Still
Raise your hand
in
if you
the
showered today.
hand really bad. Want to raise my hand real bad.
Just Dan. Only
Yeah.
Dan showered.
Got a
Yeah.
shower in the
We're
morning.
not used to this video content.
I did. I wanted to be like, oh, gross, Reed didn't shower. Then when I realized that was the majority, I was like, no, I can't be looked in with that. Can't be looked-
Farmers, we're dirty people.
I was planning on it, but then I didn't run, and
Oh,
so then I was
yeah.
like, I mean, I could make this last another
Okay,
16 hours.
so thought maybe like some icebreaker like questions.
Oh, great. Okay. Get
For
me one.
us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
Okay.
you that you probably already know the answer to.
No. I mean,
Icebreaker, like random
like, get
things,
to know
getting
ya, like,
you
oh.
kinds of things.
Wait, are we asking our audience?
No.
He's
This is
well,
for-
they're coming up with
for
questions.
them to get to know us.
The
Oh.
power
Okay.
struggle when I'm not leading
In
things is
charge.
very strange.
Yeah.
Use a vacuum.
Yeah. You really need to get command of this group, Josh.
All right. So,
I have command.
okay, one of my
Here we
favorite questions to ask people because I think it's incredibly telling
Here we go.
Oh
is
no.
whether or not you fold or crinkle.
Oh,
See, okay,
this is like youth group icebreaker
I know.
questions.
We're starting from the bottom.
We all
Start
went to
from the
New
bottom.
York.
Literally the bottom.
When we went and did our first convention, it was the four of us that went to New York, which meant that we not only went through 4 airports to work, like 2 airports, but
That's right, we're
twice.
we were the New York team.
We were the New York
We're the
team.
New Yorkers.
So we had a lot of opportunities to spend isolated time together. And
What a mistake.
yeah, mistake number 1. That's why the con team was fractured for Alabama.
He's like, I'm done with these people.
I'm out. I can't
don't
do
wanna
another
be
one.
with
Can't
them.
do this
No,
again.
but
I can't
I'm
handle it.
pretty sure this question came up as like one of our 5 to 6 hour driving expeditions,
Sure.
like to Poughkeepsie.
Yeah. So we have
So-
to answer it again?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
for the people. Bring them in to our lives.
And in
Danny?
case this wasn't telling, when he says fold or crinkle, he means toilet paper because he's
Yes.
gross.
Yeah,
And
because you want to get real into our private
Yes.
lives.
Yeah, let's get real. Let's get real, guys. Do a fold or crinkle, and which is better? Danny?
I don't have an opinion on which is better, but my process is to do both. You rip off a
Oh, I
square,
forgot about
a square or two,
he's the
fold it, and then crinkle.
Now, the part that I don't understand
Pick a side,
is
man.
that
Pick a side.
you just said 2 squares.
1 or 2 squares.
What kind of toilet paper do you use?
like 12 ply.
Because
Real
like,
nice.
you're
The
gonna
best.
break through just like a single
Real
square.
estate's-
No.
Real estate's going well for you.
Poke
buddy.
right through.
No. The best.
Oh my
You gotta
gosh!
get that, I think it's Charmin.
Charmin.
Cottonelle.
This live
Cottonelle.
stream Q&A brought to you by Charmin. Go to
Charmin
their,
Ultra.
go to their website, enter a promo
The
code
big
SNEAK,
rolls.
and you'll get
10% off.
10% off your next 3-ply pack.
Okay, Josh.
I fold. I'm a tried and true folder every time.
I crinkle because I got things to do and I'm not wasting my time.
Safe paper.
I do not.
Read
I
gets
do
it.
not think I am better than people because I crinkle.
You did.
But she does think
You
she's
do.
better than people, just not because
Okay.
she crinkles.
Okay. Look at the pot calling the kettle black.
Guys, we've already done enough racial stuff. Let's tone that down a bit.
Guys, I'm still here.
Yeah, Dan can still hear us.
And Reed, I believe you said you're a folder.
I'm a folder because I live with a crinkler, and it makes me want to pull my hair out. I lived by myself for 9 months before I got married, and then my wife moved in, as one does after marriage. And I think in that 9 months, I had the same 6-pack of toilet paper for the entire time. My wife moves in, we go through a 6-pack like every 2 weeks.
Okay, but
That's not an exaggeration.
here's
Yeah,
the
but
deal.
Dan takes him a year.
Yeah,
Here's the
because it's
deal.
one half at a time.
Origami.
And I'm not.
It's a crane that
And you fly it through your crack.
flies down there on its own.
Be free.
I'm not saying all women are crinklers. I don't make sweeping generalizations like that. But what I am saying is we require more toilet paper, just in general.
I know. There's processes in place.
Yes. Anyway.
Okay, we got a question from Zachary Faulkner.
What's up, Zach?
What do you think about the economic divide between gnomes and humans?
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
question.
Ooh.
Dan has to answer it first.
Because he comes from the upper class.
Yeah.
Right.
Your family's loaded.
You
dude.
are the 1%.
Yeah,
so.
Wait a minute. James Daniel had a follow-up question to the previous one. Do you look after the wipe?
Dan, you just guess.
You have to look. Otherwise, how do you know when you're done? You don't go, I think this is a 3-wipe job, and then just call it good after that. You have to know.
This is a 3-wipe job. Like categories.
I go until
I'm
a
not
skin
rolling
starts
those
coming off.
dice.
Okay, I'm sorry. Back to the economic divide between gnomes.
Someone heard
I
that.
never thought I would be so excited to talk about an economic divide.
I hope someone heard that.
I did.
Well, I mean,
No,
out there in the
I'm
ether.
Sure, I'm sure they did.
Dan, what were you saying about the divide?
I've never thought that the Nindoro family would mingle much with other races. I kind of feel like they're really set off on their own and kind of keep to themselves, even though they're upper class. But I feel like they've got a lot of servants around them, and Akio didn't want to be part of that. So I feel like his interaction with the team and any other races he comes across in the world is very welcome to him.
Well, you're like Jasmine.
Yes.
In
You're like-
Aladdin.
Thank you, Josh. I was referring to the other Jasmine of
Yeah.
popular fiction.
The acclaimed Disney movie Aladdin with Robin Williams playing the genie.
No, Jasmine, she's all like, I do live a privileged life, but she still thinks she has it rough.
Yeah.
And so she has to be a woman of the people
There
in
you
order
go.
to really test that and see how good she has it.
She falls in love
With
with the street rat.
Yeah.
Riff raff.
I don't
So what
buy
we
that.
need to know right now, Reed.
Yeah.
Is if there's room for a Jasmine-like character in.
Akio could be that bridge.
Who's Akio's Aladdin?
Yeah, because Akio's not Aladdin in this situation.
No.
No.
I don't know. Mike had Josephine. You had
Amelia.
Amelia.
Is that her name? Josephine?
I thought it was.
The gnome
Yeah.
Yeah, the gnome with purple hair.
that fell in love
That
with
doesn't ring a
Sherwood.
bell though. Like I know who you're talking about, but
From the Sandy Pecan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
Josephine?
I thought so.
I thought it was too.
Okay.
Someone fact check me on that.
We'll find out.
You could just
I'm
hand
only
me
like
my
halfway
binder.
through the comments right now.
Well, and again, like that
Do you
arc
want your
was like
binder?
episode
Get it.
30. That's
That's a
100
long
episodes
time
ago.
Yeah.
love is so far off.
Yeah, and so I think the possibility of adding love interest is obviously out there. I've tried it twice, and one of them almost took. So yeah, I think it's possible that Akio could be the cog that turns the wheel of economic and racial barriers.
He's gonna unite the world.
Somebody
Wow.
emailed and said that they ship Akio and Brenna together.
I saw that. I saw that
Well,
email.
they wouldn't be the first. I'm sure. I think we've gotten art and
Oh, I guess Ben.
texts about it.
My friend
I
Ben
remember
was
hearing
saying
that
so.
early on in the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one moment that I love in particular where you said Mike Akio to Brenna says, Brenna, there's something I need to tell you, and Kelsey goes, dear God, please don't say you have feelings for me. And someone did fan art of it. It was perfect.
I really want the uncomfortable Danny Kelsey character relationship to start, because they'll have to RP like falling in love with each other in front of
in
Josh.
front of the husband.
Oh, you would be awful.
Josh would be insufferable.
He gets so.
I'd be fine.
No, you get so
I'd be fine.
offended.
You know, that's true. You
You
do get kind
so-
of.
Anytime that
protective.
whenever Reed and I have made a joke, you're like, "Hey guys,
You're like, come on, guys.
guys,
Let's settle
come
down.
on, guys."
Let's settle down, guys.
I think we all know I'm just playing around. So the next question,
Moderating was a
The next-
terrible idea.
someone wants us all to dab so they can judge who's the best dabber.
Oh, I'm awful.
All right,
All at the same time?
dab on three.
Yeah, all at the same time. Dab
on
three.
three, not
On
in
three.
three. Go. All right, ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Dab. I hit the wall.
It's you then. Here.
I'm pretty sure I did touchdown symbol.
You touched it.
Show me what you did.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Okay, so
I like he's getting into the spirit of football season being back.
so hey, by the way, congratulations on the Chiefs. Somebody said that on the street.
Huzzah!
Said they killed it.
We did. We're looking really good.
What would you call yours and your character's autobiography?
Ooh.
So you guys came prepared. Well done.
I would call it Heroes and Hammers.
You're all about the
Have you
alliteration.
been thinking about that one for a while?
Actually, a little bit.
Yeah?
There's a paper I want to write about. I call it the second hero with the hammer, about multiple characters in literature who are kind of the secondary heroes. They're like the B line story. Like the main hero, it's like their friend, and in so many of them, that character has a hammer as a weapon. And I just found it very interesting. You got Perrin Ibarra in The Wheel of Time. You have Wolfgar, son of Bjorngar, in The Legend of Dritz. And you have Roran Stronghammer, who is my character's namesake, from the Aragon series. They're all kind of the second hero with a hammer as a weapon.
Who's the first hero in this story?
What's going on?
Like
I just saw the dab.
You just saw the dev.
who in this story then is the primary hero?
In our story?
Yeah, if you're secondary, who's primary?
Oh, I think Greg became the primary hero.
In our story?
Well,
I think so.
Oh.
la di da.
All
Right? No? What do you
No,
think?
I think
He took up
Akio's
like
only died and come back to life.
I was gonna say. I mean, honestly,
Akio's closest to Jesus.
in terms of character arcs, I think everyone has experienced a bigger arc than you right now.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, like bigger change.
Yeah.
My guys kind of stayed right there.
Yeah.
No, so like, but that oftentimes is like happens with the main character, and the characters who experience the most growth are in the periphery. Like if you look at Dan Harmon's documentary about his podcast.
Yeah.
And it's very clear halfway through that he is not the
Right, Spencer is the focal point of that documentary.
yes, but I would call Spencer the second hero.
Okay.
That in that documentary you think Dan Harmon is the hero.
Well, it
to
is
start
called
with.
Harmontown.
Yeah, and then you find out near the end that he's the one you care about. And in Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Oh, don't get me started. I love
Ferris
that movie.
Ferris goes through almost no change in that
Yeah,
movie.
no,
Right.
that story is about Ferris saving Cameron.
That's
Exactly.
true.
Cameron is the second hero.
Yep.
So
I love that movie.
that's one of the. I'd love to write. I'm gonna write an article about it sometime and post all my thoughts somewhere on the internet.
Okay, so that was one. Heroes and Hammers. I don't want to skip the rest of your question. Akio, you've had a lot of time to think.
I think
called you
Akio's
Akio.
would be Blazing Noodles.
Leaning into it.
I like it. Yeah.
Ready for mine?
Yeah.
I snickered to myself when I came up with it. Bears, beats, battles. And beats like the music.
Yeah,
The music.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great. Very well done.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
Very cool.
Read.
My autobiography is still unfolding. It's the story you play. I don't want to answer this because I'm not nearly that clever
It's
on the
called
spot.
Sneak Attack.
Yeah, I'm not nearly that clever on the spot, so we're just gonna gloss right past me.
It's okay.
Okay.
Danny's was Blazing Noodles.
Uh,
So.
But it's something he developed for himself.
Sure.
How many of the characters, how many of the players would be ready or okay with their characters dying and having to play another character? That's Craig.
What up, Craig? Thank you for
Craig.
staying awake.
Hey, Craig.
Appreciate
Yes.
you, dog.
I've come to terms with that already. I was ready to die, and I was ready to make a new character. I would miss Brenna, but because I feel like she's grown a lot.
hmm
But I could do it. I could say goodbye.
I think, again, I can't answer this question obviously, but I think lately, more so recently, we've all been in a. I mean, the players have been in more near-death scenarios than I think almost the entirety of the show up until this point. Like the last probably 20 or so episodes, everyone like there's in a battle sequence, there's normally someone that goes, guys, like I'm
Yeah.
very low. This could go really poorly for me.
Yes.
More than just Akio saying turning point.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like a running joke, but now it's an actual thing. Like, I don't know if this episode is released yet, but Milo gets dangerously low
Mhm.
in an upcoming episode. Brenna's been dangerously low in several episodes. Since the Colonel died, or what happened there, him having that tanking ability has kind of shifted the team in a really strange way, and obviously losing Sherwood's heals as well. So the team comp has definitely shifted more to be a little more fragile than I think everyone's used to. So at least in my opinion, and I think talking with you guys, I feel like you've all expressed like, yeah, like I have backups, or like if it goes,
Yep.
it's fine because it's all part of the game. But I don't want to answer for anyone. I just think like
Well,
we've trended that way.
and we've come to a very like interesting point, and I would imagine this is difficult as a dungeon master, where we're not just playing D&D anymore.
Yeah.
We are telling a story at this point.
Mhm.
Like if you're just playing D&D, a character can just be off like that. It's no
Mhm.
big deal because it's just you're still playing the
Just bring
game.
new-
You're going to
yeah,
bring a
you're
new
just hanging
character
out
in and
with
just play again.
friends.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no emotional
But
investment.
because there's so much story now, like
Mhm.
offing a character just out of nowhere, I imagine that would be a hard thing to do. Like and I'm not trying to speak for you. I'm just saying, like,
No,
I imagine there's more pressure as a dungeon master.
you're right. The most challenging thing is, okay, so say, for example, a fight really just goes south for someone. Their rolls are not landing. They get knocked unconscious and they're just biffing their death saving throws. I can't have planned for this really one-off random fight to have killed this guy. Like, so how do I give him a big dramatic death
Right.
if it's just really bad luck?
Yeah.
You know, I think that was a challenge with Akio, and
Mhm.
I've said even in the past that like I regretted the way that Akio went out, but I feel like that's always the struggle. It's like, okay, say it does happen totally unexpectedly, and I didn't plan for it. How do I make that death have weight on the spot, or like for the next several episodes? I don't know. Luckily we haven't had to deal with it, and the times we have lost characters have been more of these kind of planned out endeavors, which I didn't plan on who stayed, who left, but I had that option in my mind as an available avenue to take, so I was able to plan that a little better.
Okay. Kelsey wins the dab. Girl power.
Thanks, youths.
Also, Casey loves the table. Kelsey, she thinks it's very cute.
I set it up.
From
Josh
IKEA.
Josh added the candle.
I did have the candle. I'm the candle.
It smells nice. I mean, I
yes.
picked out the candle, but you asked for the candle.
Okay. So what was your guys' favorite episode?
Oh.
Do you have a favorite episode?
That's really difficult.
And for anybody logging in like now, Mike is not here because he's sick.
Correct. Strep throat. Sorry,
Yes.
guys. He was very much looking forward to this. Just really suddenly got strep throat and had to bail last minute. But he's here in spirit, and I think we can plan on him being at the next one.
My favorite episode has got to be when we were in the plane and Death Marrow sent us to Greyx past.
You did
I
really
remember
like that
as I
one.
was piecing what Reed was doing together in my mind when we showed up there and it came together for me, I was super excited because I thought it was a really clever narrative idea that Reed pulled off. And I was really excited knowing that each of us was going to experience a moment like that. I was really excited to see how that was going to go down for everybody.
What's yours?
My favorite episode, it's probably, at this point now, it's probably a tie between Knock 2 Times.
Which one was that one?
The one where Akio
where we killed James.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that just, for me, that moment felt so good. Like, it just, like I remember being so freaking pumped.
That episode is called So Long, Junior.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where you
Which is
bashed his head in?
Yeah, where you beat James's face in.
No, no, it was when he set me free. Because we called it Knock 2 Times because he'd used the spell Knock twice
Right.
to unlock me and
Right.
Sherwood, I think. But-
I called that episode So Long, Junior, though, in reference to Sin City, where Bruce Willis's
You guys
character.
are talking about two different episodes.
Yeah, we are. Because
Okay, we are?
that when we broke free and attacked him, that was the end of Knock 2 Times.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I knew that they were really close together. I
Yes.
thought that they were.
Okay,
Okay.
so that one and then what was
That one and oh gosh darn, I gotta remember what's happened recently. There was something that happened recently that made me really happy. Apparently, Knock 2 Times is my favorite because I can't remember what the other one is.
I mean, it's been around longer.
Yeah, true.
True resonance.
For me, I still go back and I listen to the Halloween episode if I'm like if Josh is gone or having a hard time sleeping because it was just I felt like we were in our element.
Mhm.
It was still really early. I know we were still trying to find our footings, but Danny killed me on that episode. He was so funny. And I always had a fun time when it was just Sherwood and Brenna. Like I loved that pairing so much. So I enjoy going back to that. But emotionally, I liked the episode shortly after that when Greg was gone with the Pineapple Gang and we had like that uniting moment. The Akio Sherwood
Do
and
we
Brenna.
go save him?
Do we go save him? And there's like, look, we've been traveling together. I think it's safe to say we're friends. We're gonna go save him. So I like that one. I also really enjoyed the whole Tegan fiasco. Like me trying to keep him from committing suicide and not doing it very, very effectively and like panicking and pulling you. But honestly, the most minus like the dad thing, the most emotional moment for me was walking out of the office with Tegan and like having that moment with him where he like viewed me as his sister and I don't remember exactly what was said, but whatever was said was really applicable to what was going on in my life outside of game. And I just remember being like really struck and it was profound. And I remember feeling like, wow, D&D can help you solve all your problems. You just have to role play through them. And I was like, that's weird. I'm done.
I think for me, one of my favorites is Wings of Fire. Very early on, episode
Is that Furman?
3 or something like that.
Yeah, that's real early.
It's because that was the first time that I got to drip feed content that they wouldn't discover for much, much later. And
True.
that to me, I think is like probably my greatest. That's when I'm most in my element, when I can come up with these long form story plans and just like hint at content all throughout the run of the series and then get to bring it back in a way that goes, holy crap, like you actually thought this through. So I think that the way that played out, Brenna getting the proper perception checks to find the little keyhole passage, discovering that even though like that area was crumbled, it wasn't like ruined or over like dirty. It was obviously still maintained by someone. Just the way everything played out, Mike talking with the bunnies and emojis was hilarious.
That was great.
But there's just a lot of great moments in that. I think a lot of great setup. I also am a huge fan of the first encounter with Sylvana under the mountain, learning up who she was, getting the compass, which again, like that just plays right into my whole drip feeding content thing. The compass didn't play into the story at all for like another 30, 40 episodes or something like that. I am a huge fan of the episode where Dragus dies.
Yeah, you did like that. You expressed a lot that you
even in the moment, like while we were recording, I just got to sit back and listen to my 4 friends have an in-character discussion about a world I built 18 months prior, like sitting in my boxers in my bed. Like, that's weird. I'm just like typing on my laptop, and now they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Without my intervention, they're just like having a conversation about it 18 months later. I was like, that's cool to me. Because that was a big Ophelia reveal. And most recently, this might be recency bias, but I also don't believe it is, would be going to the Evergrove and having Brenna play the song.
That was really cool.
I've told several people that if the show existed just for that moment, then it paid off.
Yes.
That I think will probably define our show. Like volume 1. That will define volume 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, right on. Danny and Ellen, sorry I missed your question when you first asked it. I'm perusing looking for the questions. Okay, Danny, Ellen needs to know exactly what Akio is trying to do with the 3 sticks.
Yeah,
With the 3 sticks?
Yeah. What is the configuration of the sticks?
Okay.
It's Braveheart, right?
Break it down.
Okay,
Break it down.
Okay, I got it.
All right. This is going to be the portion we like to call Akio's tutorials.
So you know.
Akio's crafts. Crafts with Akio.
Crafts with
Okay.
Akio.
So you'd like lay down the 3 sticks. You'd sharpen them on one end, tie them together, so they make like a picture like a fence, and then you prop them up.
Like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they create a sharp barrier, pointing towards anyone coming at them. So basically, like people could climb over them, but they'd have to take time to climb over them.
Okay,
They couldn't just rush at you.
Here's my question. How far are the sticks apart from each other?
Not very far.
Okay, so how much ground does it actually
I
cover?
know. It's 3
Okay,
sticks.
just
So
You typically need more than 3 in order for this
typically more than 3.
tactic to be viable.
Okay, just checking.
Akio's a city boy, so he doesn't know how things. He doesn't know how
You
things.
saw
work
this in a
the
play
wild.
once.
It worked in
I read
Braveheart.
about this in a book.
Okay, Happy has an interesting question, Reed. If the heroes of High Rock die on one of their missions, will we automatically move to Volume 2?
I've thought about this. I don't think so. I think, well, I need more time to write it.
So stop wishing for our deaths.
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, thanks, Miles.
I need more time to write, but I think I would probably play out the end of the Valisar saga in some way. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that would play out, and the nature of their death would probably play a part in it. But I don't think we would just jump right to Volume 2. Otherwise, we'd need like a pretty significant hiatus, like a 3-month hiatus on the show, to give me time to actually flesh this thing out.
Okay, this one's for everybody. Would you prefer a hand made out of ham, or an armpit that dispenses sunscreen?
Oh, like on our body.
Yes.
So like my armpit right there dispenses sunscreen on my hands.
This is very important,
It is.
A hand made of ham. Does this mean like instead of skin, it's ham?
Yeah.
but I think you can eat it. This is very important. Do I control the dispensement of the sunscreen?
I think it just dispenses.
Is it just running?
If it's
all
just
the time?
constant, if it's constant, then it's obviously the ham hand.
I think it's the ham hand no matter what.
Oh.
Like, wait, unless
Guys.
does the ham spoil?
I would do sunscreen easy.
Well, yeah, you're. Like,
I would
you're
never
the whitest
burn
dude I
anyone.
know.
Yeah. It'd be so great.
Oh, you would smell like sunscreen all the time.
Only when I squirted it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it
need to
matters.
determine.
There's gotta be more factors to this.
That's okay. We don't need to.
Does the ham regenerate?
Does it spoil if
I
I'm out in
nibble
the sun too long?
Yeah, do I need to keep it like hermetically sealed? Otherwise it'll rot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm leaning towards the ham hand,
Same.
personally.
I'm pretty sure this answer is probably no for everybody, but Martin Thompson wants to know: have things turned out like you expected them to?
Just with the show as a whole?
I'm guessing with the story,
Oh, with the story.
Mm.
since that's what most of the questions have been around.
Sure.
I don't think they did at all. Like
I didn't really have expectations, so.
I keep having micro expectations. So whenever Greg enters a certain scenario, I have in my head how I think things could play out, and they almost never do. Like I thought in my head, okay, Greg's gonna marry Amelia, right, or something like that, and then he's gonna take her surname and go back to High Rock as a
Dawn Chaser.
Dawn Chaser.
No.
Back to
Vorstead.
Vorstead
Yeah.
as a Dawn Chaser instead of a Stronghammer,
Yeah.
allowing him to have a clan name again. But then re-killed her. So
I mean, you kind of killed her by taking a long rest in the front.
that jump shift. And
Got him.
so and yeah, and then I legitimately thought Greg was gonna die in the Plane of the Damned. I was fully ready for that.
I think we were all ready. for that.
I even had like my new character like ready to rock and roll.
You always
You
have
have
a new
5
character.
characters
Yeah.
on
That
reserve at
doesn't
any time.
mean
Only
anything.
one of my 5 characters have I like hoped to use in Sneak Attack. The others are just for fun. But
Yeah, sometimes I'll come home from a night out because I'm an extrovert and Josh is an introvert. So I go out and he stays in sometimes. And I'll be like, hey, babe, what'd you do? And he's like, I created a character. For what? Just wanted to create a character. So he's got like 5 or 6.
Those are side
He's just
chicks.
sitting up.
I don't think it's turned out at all like how I was expecting it. The only goal I wanted to accomplish with Akio was to start his noodle franchise, and I've made very little progress in that.
See, I think you have the most like true to life story of any character in the show.
struggling
It's just
restaurant.
it's okay, finally make some ground, and then it's like some terrible thing happens and you
I
lose
lose
all
my
your
wagon.
like you lose your wagon, you lose your money.
I
Like
was like, okay, I was
Lose
gonna
a
have a
shit.
total campaign to like earn gold, save the gold up.
Yeah.
Until recently, I had 0 gold.
yeah, he just got a bunch of gold. You don't know, like you guys don't know how yet, but he just got a bunch of gold.
I don't remember how we did that either.
It was,
Okay.
Shambling Mound.
Jacob
That's right. I don't have a bunch of gold.
yeah,
Only he has
only
a bunch of gold.
Jacob Alumba asks
What's up, Jacob?
a question. He says, "Who is religious?" And knowing that, what is your thoughts of Christians sometimes believing that D&D is a dark art thing?
That's all you did.
So I'm actually we're all
We're all
Christians. We'll just get that out. I think I'm okay.
Speak for
speaking
yourself. No, I
okay.
am too.
Yeah, but I'm actually a pastor.
Are you
Sorry,
assuming
here.
Are you assuming
I'm
my
a-
religion?
I'm a creative pastor, so I do primarily video and media stuff, but I've also preached a couple times. And I love D&D. And I don't think there's we'll just say right out, right, there's nothing dark arts about D&D or Wizards of the Coast or even Magic the Gathering. A lot of that is superstition and I think fear from like the 90s or the 80s.
70s.
Yeah,
It goes real far back,
It
yeah.
goes really far back.
It started with, if I remember correctly, I did a little bit of research. This is probably a little off, but
Take it with a grain of salt.
yeah. So take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. But if I remember correctly, this is somewhat what happened. A young kid went missing. I think he may have killed himself.
Yeah. I think
And when the police were searching his house, they found D&D books in his room, and I think his mom was just wanted an answer. And so she decided to attach the D&D books to why he killed himself, to find like kind of a reason for it. So she kind of went on her own crusade. She started a whole organization called BAD. I think it was like BADD, something against Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. And she would actually take like newspaper interviews done with Gary Gygax and clip out his words and create sentences from different things he said.
Like they were some type of Da Vinci Code.
Like there, and then put it together in her little pamphlets as quotes from him saying these like really bad things. And so when the press finally started, and they got so much traction, they actually got D&D banned from several state schools, like They got so much traction publicly, but once actual newspapers and publications started to realize that she was publishing false information that was like dictated and edited like to look a certain way, they started shutting her down. The organization that she had launched booted her out as the leader, and then only just a few years after they booted her out, they ended up just spreading out eventually. Here's the deal. This is the thing I hear a lot of. I'll be done. I'll be off my soapbox after this. But this is the thing I hear a lot of Christians say that they are afraid of because of D&D, is that it lends to the occult, or that it tends to be addictive and get kids out of the real world and into a fantasy world. Here's where I disagree with a lot of that. I believe at its core, like, D&D can be an incredible tool for teaching people what it's like to be a hero and what it means to actually step up and lead your own adventure. In my opinion, especially with like video games being as intense as they are, if your kid's going to do something for a certain amount of time, hanging out around a table, looking other people in the eye and telling stories and learning how to problem solve, how to cooperate with a group of friends is far more productive than a lot of things that kids spend their time doing. And I think the same with a lot of the controversy that came up in the Christian kind of bubble with Harry Potter and Pokemon. A lot of this stuff is about like becoming an adventurer, to stepping outside your box and being part of a larger story. And I think these are the, like, a kid who learns these things early is less likely to fall into the occult. Mm-hmm. They're more interested in blazing a path for themselves, not falling into to some sort of format or formula. So that's my soapbox. That's all I'll say on it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, if anybody else wants to say something, they can.
I thought you did that great. That's why I didn't take it.
So I don't know what this question means, but Ellen asks, what do you want Jeff to do about the terrible team comp situation? Is this a stream thing?
Ellen, no, that's Overwatch. Jeff Kaplan, the director of Overwatch.
Oh.
Ellen, that's a great question. I think
take it real seriously, Raheed. Take us deep.
I think a few heroes need fundamental shifts. Mercy and Diva being the chief among them. The fact that right now Pharmacy is still a viable pairing, even at the professional level, and there's not a lot of great counters for it, that's pretty ridiculous. I think that Diva needs a 100% rework, much in the same way that Mercy's getting a rework, even though Mercy's rework doesn't change the viability of Pharmacy. So I think getting rid of Diva's defense matrix altogether is probably needed, unless they really reduce the time it's active and they really increase the cooldown to where you don't feel like you're just getting screwed over every time you fire a bullet or use an ultimate. I think, honestly, those two changes, the Mercy one being the biggest, and I know that's coming down the pipe here pretty soon, so that might actually make it less toxic. But Diva being another hero that needs a huge change. Junkrat just got a change, but needs a total rework again. He's way too powerful now, way too strong. And they've created this shield meta with Winston, Reinhardt, Orisa, blah, blah, blah. But then they just created one character that completely makes them obsolete. So I don't know. They don't do a very good job at creating heroes that balance the existing meta or throw a wrench in that mix. They create heroes that just do one specific thing, and then it kind of throws everything else into chaos. If you want a good example of how, like, a good game that does hero updates or like patches or adding new heroes in a way that is very well received, look at League of Legends or Dota 2. They do a very good job at releasing heroes that actually counter what the game is doing presently. But I don't think Blizzard is taking that approach. I still enjoy the game, but I don't think they're taking that approach.
Okay, so this one's probably geared more for Kelsey. Caleb Walker wants to know if we're going to do more music, and he also wants to know if we can put the Tale of Sherwood on Spotify. That's half of that is probably Reed. thing.
Yeah. I would like to do more music time. That took a lot of time. And it worked out because I started it at the beginning of the summer and then spent the rest of the summer practicing it and then recording it. And then we waited till Platt and Jordan had a mix that we were happy with and we want that. So it's an intensive process. I would need to be inspired. I don't think I could actually just sit down and I think I'm going to write a song today. I wanted to do something to honor Sherwood for the sacrifice that he made for my dad, even though I killed him. But so maybe down the road, depending on time.
Yeah.
Not right now.
I probably pressure her more than anybody to do it again.
You do, but
because I love it.
you like challenging me. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. This one I think might be for everybody.
The second half of the question was not important. Don't worry about it. Sorry, Caleb.
Sorry, Reed. I forgot about it.
No. We have no intentions of ever releasing the song by itself standalone. I got a lot of pressure to do so and a lot of questions asking why not that I've not responded to. So I guess I'll just set the record straight for everyone who's here. Our product is the podcast. We're not musicians. We're not a band. And I don't want to fracture our brand identity. That's in collaboration with talking with Mike, who's kind of our brand manager and knows way more about this than I do. But even from the beginning, that was never really the intention because I think the song by itself doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
So the song is meant to be this amazing companion piece to the 100 and so odd episodes that have led up to that part. Mm-hmm. And I think someone browsing Spotify or whatever and seeing Tale of Sherwood, it just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't detract from the quality of the song.
Yeah.
But I don't think the reason why it resonated so much with us is because we had 100 episodes worth of emotion and story to go along with it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to dilute that. I don't think.
Yeah, we do have it on a YouTube video. And for those of you who are savvy with web browsers, there are ways that you can download music from a YouTube video.
Yeah, it requires quite a bit of back-end hacking.
Not really.
No.
But we're not providing it for you. You have to do the illegal work to obtain it.
Okay.
Have fun.
All right.
Don't get arrested.
That was not advice.
We will not pursue you legally, so go crazy.
Unless you post it on Spotify or iTunes.
Then
we're coming after you.
I will come after
you. Her dad's a lawyer.
Yeah, my dad is a lawyer, and that is my voice. So.
Okay. Do you think this one's gonna hit real deep with you, Danny? I think it's gonna hit right home.
Okay.
Do you think the Tim Allen film, The Santa Claus, could ever happen in real life?
Not this.
If you were press ganged into being Santa, would you feel happy or resentful?
Press ganged?
I think about this every day.
That's what he wrote. You think about this every day?
Mm-hmm.
I bet you do.
Tim Allen didn't ask for that.
He also didn't read the fine print.
And his kid didn't ask for that either.
No.
He didn't read the clause.
Oh, that's the whole name of the movie.
I know.
That's the joke.
I did. I think about 2 weeks into marriage, I walked out of the bathroom and looked at Kelsey and I said, "Do you ever feel like each day you're looking more and more like Santa Claus?"
And I said, "No, I don't."
Valid question.
Because that's how I feel sometimes. I feel like I'm slowly turning into Santa Claus in real life. And
you don't get me near enough.
And Martin, I hope that's not what was the impetus of your question. Is just looking at Josh and thinking he's on his way.
If you want,
he's kind of Tim Allen-ing that Santa Claus shape.
If you want to give me more presents, I'm okay with it. That is my love language.
Yeah. All right.
He's avoiding it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Anyway, on to more questions. This is a good question from Craig. How long was Sneak Attack running before you reached a point where you considered it a success?
Is it a success? I'm kidding.
I'd say
I'm kidding.
That we're here right
now.
Month. Yeah, it really when we first started seeing traction, I was like, holy cow, 500 people are listening.
Well, and we didn't necessarily we weren't like, man, this has to reach this many people.
Right.
We just wanted to have fun, and we were like, hey, let's make it a podcast. So I don't think we had these high standards we had to meet in order to consider it a success.
Oh no, I know. When I felt like we made it, we were on the actual front page of iTunes.
Yeah.
Not like under a category we were on the front page of iTunes under new and noteworthy for the entirety of iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
that was a pretty crazy day.
That was.
Yeah.
That was a really, I mean, that was pretty early on. I think we started in June, and that was probably September or October, because New and Noteworthy lasts a really long time on iTunes. So I think like by September we were front page of the entire.
I still have the picture. I screen capped it.
Yep.
I still have it saved on my
Yep.
on my computer.
So that it was for me. It's probably like, okay, like we've got something here.
Yeah. And then just more stuff kept happening to confirm that. I
Yeah.
think I don't know that we ever saw ourselves. This is what makes me interested in the future, because I don't think we ever saw ourselves being on the front page of iTunes. I don't think we ever saw ourselves getting to interact and get interviewed by actual people from Wizards of the Coast.
Like Wizards proper. Yeah.
You guys being on their Dragon Talk show. And then I don't think we ever thought we'd actually get to make content that they would share, which is happening
Wednesday.
it's happening Wednesday, but the whole thing is starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
The podcast of Annihilation. So did we just keep hitting? And I never thought that we'd be the place where we're getting the Patreon that we're doing as successful as it is. So yeah,
I think we're continually surprised at we feel like at least me, I feel like we've plateaued, not in a bad way, but just like, all right, we found our capacity, and then something happens to surprise us even further. So I don't know. But it was, for me, it was definitely front page of iTunes. It's like, okay, we've got something.
okay. All right. How excited are you about the podcast of Annihilation stuff? I guess that jumps in right into what we were just talking about.
Pumped.
Who asked this?
Craig again.
Oh, thanks, Craig, again. I'm very excited.
Pumped.
I think Tomb of Annihilation is a fantastic module. Probably the best standalone module Wizards has put out in all of 5th edition so far. And so that is a 100% endorsement of the product. Please go buy it. It's super good. But I think what we were able to take from that and kind of make our own was really fun for me. Seeing these guys come out with new characters and like a really unique setting was really fun as well. And I think too, just like it's an honor. Like we're asked to contribute to something that Wizards is considering like part of their product. That's crazy. Wizards has been around. I mean, like D&D has been around for 40 years, longer than 40 years, and they invited us and 9 other shows to like put our stamp on something they do. It's like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So definitely a huge honor. I'm super pumped. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. It comes out Wednesday.
Okay, in Mailbag episode 1, Josh says his alternate character would be a human barbarian with a funny mustache. Was this a precursor to the Colonel? I didn't even realize that. I did say that in our first, and you ended up creating a barbarian with a funny mustache.
Just locked away in his subconscious.
I guess I must have.
Plagiarism.
There were times when you and I were developing your second character, we had a lot of things on the table.
Good question, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
The barbarian thing kind of came in at the end. Right.
Because I had the idea of like, okay, like after the Temple series, and I gave Dan a little bit of insight. Like here's what's happening in the world. Here's where this is going. And so you as this retired Army colonel would be like finding these powers awakening in him for whatever reason. That's almost a mystery to him as well. So I thought that was really cool. Danny thought it was really cool. He came and brought in his own military background flair, which was amazing, and just I still love it. So yeah, that was I'd forgotten that you had that as a character.
I think my other option was a half-orc.
Half-orc, yep.
Yeah.
And I said you really had to sell it if you were going to get these guys on board.
Yep. I remember the turning point for me there was thinking how that character would be able to be part of the same group as Greg.
Right. It was something like
how does he stand out, like skill-wise?
Like, how would an orc?
How would you accept an orc into the party?
Oh.
And Mike too. I mean, orcs killed his dad, so like
we all had kind of orc baggage.
Yep.
And so I remember I told you that the only way that would really work is if you were like a self-hating orc. Like you were really self-loathing and hated the orc side of your heritage and almost wanted to like prove that half-orcs can be functioning members of society. Kind of like, well, spoilers almost, but you're
Kind of like my character in Podcast
Yeah,
Annihilation.
your character in the Podcast Annihilation.
I want to just tell them what our characters are.
No.
Okay.
Do it.
They're so good. Like
They're
I
fun.
love our characters.
They're really fun.
They are
Honestly, I know someone asked earlier like what our favorite episodes were, and if I were to look at it from a different lens of like what felt the best to play, but rather like what could I listen to again and again, I could listen to the Christmas episode again and again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I could listen to that episode like multiple times over just because it was so creative and unique and fun. On that note, Reed, someone is curious what the holiday theme will be for 2018.
Ooh, we haven't done a holiday
Halloween.
episode yet.
And
Thanksgiving?
Part 2.
Ooh,
Thanksgiving?
Ooh.
What's a holiday we haven't done?
A lot.
Because 2015 was
Oh,
Halloween,
Yeah.
2016 was Christmas.
What's 2017? Have we done one for 2017?
No.
No, we haven't.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and they're kind of limiting my options.
Kwanzaa!
Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah?
I don't know. I was actually, I had this conversation with my wife a while back, and I said we'll probably do another Halloween episode.
That was a great episode.
I did enjoy that one
There's
very
just
much.
so much we can
The
do.
theming is so much fun.
That's the
yeah.
thing. It provides so much potential.
Yeah.
I would like to do. I would like to kind of create a special environment that they could go to for what like these holiday one-offs, but I don't know how to theme it around a holiday. That's like where I'm stuck right now. I have a cool place I would like them to go, and I think I can work it out into the story as is, but at the same time, I'd like to
Flag Day.
a Flag Day. That's it. Looking for the last stone. There's flags everywhere.
Okay.
It's a 2-hour episode for some reason.
Kelsey,
Yeah.
would you rather fight a dozen duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
You know, I thought a lot about this, and that's not a lie.
I feel like we've been asked this question before.
No, it's a standard question.
That's
though.
like a Reddit AMA question.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Horse-sized duck.
That's the right call.
A horse-sized... Why is that the right call?
It's only one.
It's 1,000 otherwise, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but they're tiny. You can just kick them.
1,000.
Ducks aren't tiny, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they're like this big.
Dude, but ducks are mean. Have you ever seen
1,000. They'd
a
overcome
single
you.
duck
I think-
the size of a horse?
I
I
made
think
the
that's
right
I think
decision.
that's the right call.
I made the right decision.
Oh,
Agree
yeah.
to disagree.
3 against 1.
Danny, they really want you to talk in your Colonel voice, and I'm gonna combine this request with a question. What is your favorite cheese pun? If you could answer as the Colonel, that'd be great. You could give some time to think about it. There are other questions.
Cheese pun?
Yeah.
Like a name of a cheese, like Gouda or Feta
You do have a shirt that says it's all good.
It's true. But the Colonel would never say that.
or
That's so out of character for him.
you could do a
He's
cheese
so
pun
proper.
with pepper jack. I'll give you $1.
Oh.
No pressure.
I
Okay.
have to think
Anybody
about
else
that.
have a favorite cheese pun?
I've never considered that as an option.
All right.
Let me pull out my notebook of cheese puns. Hang on.
What is the dumbest / funniest death of one of your characters? Like jumping off a cliff or getting stomped by a horse. I guess any character we've ever played in D&D. Have we ever had any funny
I've
deaths?
never died.
Mine
Yeah.
would be it was combo wildcard shenanigans, right?
Well,
It wasn't
Combo
kaiju.
wildcard shenanigans.
I thought
it
the way
kaiju?
Kaiju died was
I
more
can't remember.
ironic.
The one Mike killed me.
That was
That's
Kaiju.
That was
Kaiju.
kaiju.
Yeah,
okay. Okay. So I was playing a
An assassin.
necromancer.
And it's an assassin,
Okay. An assassin.
which was like its own class in 4th edition, I think.
Yep. Playing with Mike. We're like in an alley fighting some people. I end up going. Oh, I crit failed on a roll,
Yeah,
and I stabbed myself with my sword.
kind of.
You
Okay,
fell.
kind of. So he was exploring this like personal side story of killing innocent people and gathering their souls, like collecting their souls.
I had a
And
katana that collected souls.
yeah, and so what he was trying to do, and he kept like collecting body parts, and he wanted to reanimate this like hodgepodge humanoid to serve as his like slave servant thing. But he needed a bunch of souls in order to like power the thing,
Yep.
like a
Yep.
golem, but like with souls instead of magic. And So what he went down this alleyway to try and sneak up and like just get kills on innocent people in this pretty populated city. And so he like Splinter Cell climbed up this wall, and then rolling an acrobatics check or something like that to move himself into a different position. He crit failed, fell from his perch, and landed on his sword. And then that pretty much downed you.
Yeah,
And then our healer showed up.
Then Mike showed up.
and all he had to do was res me. But he came over, and it was super dramatic. He took his time saying what he was gonna do. He grabbed the sword, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna pull it out. And he pushed it in farther
Yeah.
And killed him.
and killed
It
me.
straight up killed him. And that was because, much like Sherwood and Akio's actual past, Mike's character then hated necromancy or like reanimation, that kind of dark magic.
Yeah. And you had just killed a family. That was the thing. Like,
No, what?
Yep.
You had like bodies in your
Yep.
bag of
No,
holding.
no.
I remember that.
You killed a young boy and his dad walking down the alley.
No.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I went through the transcripts.
Wow.
I got off.
That was such a dark time.
And fun fact, that was our last
That was our very
time
last
playing.
episode.
That was our
Or-
last session.
Very last session, yep.
We stopped
Oh, yeah.
playing with that group after that session.
Because I was working on my other character.
Yeah.
Never...
Okay, so I've got a question. What is one of your most embarrassing moments in life?
In life?
Yeah. Do you ever have embarrassing moments?
No,
Anybody ever experienced those?
never. I'm never embarrassed.
Josh, that's not a fair question to ask because you just have no shame.
Yeah.
It's true. It's very true. It's very true. Okay, we'll see what we got.
It was embarrassing to be around. Like it wasn't me. Does that count?
Sure.
Like I was just humiliated.
Sure.
Last night I went to a movie with a group of friends, and I waited until the last person got there because I was making sure everyone got their tickets to come in. When we walked in, there were people in our seats, and so the usher went over and told them to move over, just opening up my seat. And so I walked over with my friend, and he said, "You need to move over one more seat, or do you want to snuggle?" To this preteen girl. Like this is like a 20-year-old male saying to a preteen girl, "Do you
That's
want to
illegal.
snuggle?" Just as the preview ended, and he's saying it loudly,
Out loud.
so
Oh.
everyone hears it. And I'm like, and here's a female standing next to a male, and I'm like, not mine, not mine, not mine, not a part of this, not a part of this. I sat down so fast because I did not want to be around it.
Okay.
Yikes, that's embarrassing.
So you saw the movie It
Uh-huh.
last night,
Uh-huh.
and
Theater was dark though.
uh,
Like, how could you know? I'm trying to like give him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, the huge screen. He just creates awkward situations. The huge screen is shining light on everyone
well.
in the theater.
That happens. Sorry, bud.
and
I
now
don't think he-
everyone
I don't
knows.
think he feels any shame. Like I don't even know if he fully. One of my friends says, "Dude, you get your name put on a list somewhere for that." Like I'm not sure he fully realizes what he did, but I was mortified.
That's an appropriate response on your behalf to be mortified.
Thank you.
yeah, definitely.
Anyway, yes.
So the whole like I mean like that kind of theme with the kids in like the 80s and stuff, right? That's
He's
kind
talking
of
about it now.
that's really popular right now,
Mhm.
right?
Stranger Things.
Stranger
yeah.
Stranger
Things.
Things,
Mm.
and
There's been a resurgence of Goonies culture.
yes, Kelsey and I were talking about this a little bit. And there's another movie that's being remade, but they're adding a twist to it, or supposedly the director said they were going to, and it came under a lot of controversy. Did you guys hear about the remake
Remake
of
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies? Yeah, with an all girls cast instead of all boys cast.
Hmm.
So there, and it's amazing. It's really interesting. Like, who hates that idea? And maybe it's interesting to me. It's probably obvious to you.
I saw a tweet that was like, an all-female Lord of the Flies. They would just make a sustainable island, and oh wait, that's the start of Wonder Woman. I was like, oh, that's not what happened.
But yeah, so I think that their goal was to try and tell the same story differently.
Yeah.
And somehow empower women. But what they're coming under a lot of criticism for is that the whole point of the story was to give like a window to the broken nature of our society that is largely run by men.
So they're villainizing women by making them.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of the I think the criticism came from is like you're missing the point of the story if you make all of the kids girls.
I don't know. We've seen all-girl reboots of popular franchises before, and those worked out super great.
Ghostbusters?
Oh, was that a thing?
I didn't think that movie was as bad
I
as it
actually
got,
enjoyed
as
it,
it
so
got
it's
the
fine.
critical feedback for.
We don't need to talk about
It's
it.
just because it was being compared to a great classic.
Yes,
Um,
it was a classic.
yeah.
No, not the female one. Like the original one was a classic. The female one was enjoyable for me, but I don't expect Reed to like it.
I haven't seen it.
Exactly.
No, 84 Ghostbusters is like one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
The Jacob Allenbaugh, which by the way is watching with I think his family. There's
Oh,
like a whole group of people
nice.
there. But he says questions. We have a young kid here that wants to know if you will put a bunny in a prime role in the campaign. Please answer. It will make his day.
A bunny.
We've already had bunnies provide pretty fundamental information.
Mhm.
Going back to that Wings of
I
Fire
wouldn't-
episode,
I wouldn't mind a pet bunny.
the Colonel used a bunny for a brief stint as well.
I really
There's
want
kind
to
of a
keep
theme.
that going.
Throughout, like about bunnies, we should
A prime role, though, that could be very challenging. I mean,
challenging your
Ophelia.
DM skills here. Reed.
Ophelia uses a bunny to communicate to us. So then we think that Ophelia is a bunny.
Oh.
Just, I can write this all day, Reed.
yeah, Volume 2 is not your responsibility.
Right. It's going to be about bunnies.
Space bunnies.
Oh. The best kind of bunny.
Space bunnies. I like this. Someone asked earlier. I don't remember where it is or who asked it, but they wanted to know if we'll be starting out Volume 2 at level 1. And if I remember correctly, you've kind of messed with that a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't told anyone this. So this might be like really exclusive information. I'm currently in the process of writing my own player's handbook.
That's why it's taking so long.
That is heavily influenced from D&D. So the all of the pretty much fundamental basics of how combat is laid out, advantage, disadvantage, skills, abilities, all that stuff is pretty much going to remain intact. But I'm adding a whole bunch of stuff with sci-fi flair and removing all the stuff that doesn't make sense. So that's why it's taking so long. So level 1, we're not going to have straight up levels like you would expect.
It's gonna be like gear, right?
Kind of. So the way I've kind of envisioned it, and this is again very preliminary, so everything is subject to change. Is the way I've envisioned it is the group will go on kind of isolated adventures that you can probably condense down into 3 to 6, 7 episodes maybe, all doing self-contained things. The reason why I want to kind of explore that idea is because I feel it provides a much better jumping off point. If someone is to discover the show 100 episodes in, now they don't feel obligated to listen to 100 episodes worth of stuff. They can just jump to whatever is the most recent start of an adventure and call it good. There will obviously be a larger storyline to play, but it's not going to be something to where so much of the information in that episode is relying on something that happened 100 episodes ago. So with that in mind, my idea was to take these singular adventures, and depending on like the degree of difficulty, the length of time, all these different things, reward them with different abilities or ways of leveling up their character that aren't tied to experience points. So it could be like they're assigned a job, and when they return from the job, they're much like in Borderlands or any RPG where you get a quest and then a reward for the quest. They say you can have one of these, and they get their pick at what they upgrade or what new gun or what new piece of gear they get. Trying to take a lot of the overly complex systems out for my sanity.
Yeah.
And while still feeling like every mission is worth doing because you get cool stuff at the end, and also because I feel like if I can just focus my efforts on telling a handful of really cool but small stories at a time, then my creative juices won't be quite as tapped as they are right now, because I constantly am feeling that pressure. So that's where my brain's at right now, and has been for the last 3 or 4 months, trying to figure out how to make that work. in a way that makes sense narratively without losing the larger story arc. So starting at level 1 might be kind of a misnomer. I think the better example might be just like starting at like broke bounty hunters, whatever you want to call them, adventurers, like space adventurers. But then over the course of these missions, they gain notoriety, they gain new abilities, new weapons, new gear, that kind of stuff. So you see it in much more tangible ways rather than like I hit 34,000 experience. I hope that makes sense. It doesn't quite make sense to me yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. Kelsey's been taking a sci-fi adventure.
I have.
Did you know this, Reed?
I did. You told me.
Oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She's doing a Star Wars RPG.
Yes. Fantasy Flight Games published several like actual Star Wars RPG books, Force of Destiny and Edge of Empire. And one of my friends is kind of mixing the two so that those of us who want to play Force sensitive / Jedi characters can do so, and those wanting to play like Han Solo, bounty hunters, smugglers, droids can play because that's from Edge of Empire. So he's kind of combined it, and we just played yesterday for the first time. So
yeah, comes with its own dice.
I'm trying to prepare myself for the space world. So
That's smart.
space is not my thing.
Because
I
my
love
world,
Star Wars,
my
but-
world will definitely be up to par with Star Wars.
It's interesting though. There's been a trend of like
A lot of
a lot of fantasy moving to space.
yeah.
So
and
like
to be clear, we're not playing Starfinder.
Mm-mm,
no,
mm-mm.
That's it. I'm taking the rules and the mechanics of D&D 5th edition and just making them space themed.
but it was funny for me because like we decided, or you decided, or we all kind of agreed it'd be a fun thing to go to space for Volume 2, or at least when you told us, we were all super pumped about it. But like that decision was made like months and months ago,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like over 4 months ago at this point, right?
I first had the idea to pivot Sneak Attack and like not call it Series 2 or a Season 2 or Chapter 2, just like it's still Sneak Attack, but it's just totally different. And I first had that idea probably beginning of the year, and then I think I landed on the space idea probably around April.
Mhm.
And then I've just been kind of like tweaking it. And then when I finally pitched it to them, we talked about the future of the show and what that looks like and what our timeline kind of is. And then that's where we all agreed that the space idea seemed cool.
And then when we started working on the Patreon, as we kind of were gearing up for that, I started seeing like posts coming out about other podcasts that were going space,
That's funny.
and then an actual game system that was going space. So it's interesting to me that, and you've got the like a bunch of books and movies and TV coming out that are now like pushing space and getting excited
You're
about
such
that.
a trendsetter.
On the surface, I look like I'm just copying because my announcement came after a bunch of other announcements, but it wasn't inspired by them. Not that it matters. It's fine. But yeah, I just like space
You're
stuff.
so underground.
Yeah.
What a hipster.
Yeah. I find that I can slide into telling sci-fi stories better than I can fantasy, even though I like fantasy very much. But when I hear Josh talking about like the tales of Earth Mother and Fire Sea, I'm just like, that just has no appeal to me at all.
Yep.
He
Thanks,
wants
Reed.
guns and ships.
Yeah, lasers and hacking, like that's.
I've also read like all of the Halo books
Halo books are good though.
and the
Eric
Mass
Nyland,
Effect books.
Eric Nyland, that dude is a legit writer.
Yeah, those are great.
So because I know the stream is set to cut off at a specific time.
We're gonna close out in 5 minutes.
Okay, great. I didn't want it just to cut off.
Yeah. So yeah, we got 5 minutes. And Ellen made a good point. If you would like to see a bunny character in the show, there is a $100
There's a slot available.
make an NPC slot
Oh,
available.
yeah. There
So if
go.
you take that
Thanks,
slot,
Ellen.
you will get the form and you can create yourself a
Bunny NPC.
bunny NPC that Reed has to put in there.
Miles, you're not allowed to buy a second slot.
Yeah. And also someone was asking about like how Reed writes his notes. We actually have a tier in the Patreon for Reed's notes where you can actually see them.
And they're typed so you can read them.
Yes. Although I did snap a picture of my Aladdin notebook last recording session. There's not a lot of information on that, and there probably won't be while we're in like combat heavy stuff. My notes are much more rich when we get to like more exposition and narrative stuff. But yeah, so I'll be I'll be uploading like PDFs of my Google Docs notes as well as screenshots of my notebook. I can't confirm like when they'll release though, because I'm not going to release anything that may contain spoilers for stuff that they haven't seen yet. So once like this trial series wraps up, I'll probably dump it all. So you might just get a whole bunch of stuff all at once.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, also, Ellen says that you should probably consult Greg Tito about the leveling system in D&D.
Right.
He is an expert.
Specifically level 8.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to contribute? Anything you want to say? You want to let the people know? This is your chance, Dan. Let them know.
I got nothing.
Tell him how poorly we treat you.
It's bad, guys. It's real bad.
No, honestly, like this has been really fun for us. I know like Josh and I have been collaborating on this quite a bit, trying to figure out the best way to provide you guys with a quality stream. One thing I really put a lot of intentionality into is making sure things are up to a high level of excellence the first time. And so I want to know what we can do to make this stream better, like technologically, sound, lighting, preparation. Unfortunately, there's no way around having to see me get up and physically turn the stream off. I wish there was a way to fix that. But I want to know like what you guys liked about this, what you guys didn't like about it, because I'm a feedback guy.
We could get you a USB mouse, and you could control
A
it from
USB
behind
mouse.
I could.
There we go.
behind
The
GM
future.
screen.
Okay. I missed this question multiple
That
times,
seems snarky.
so Alyssa's asked this question I think a couple times, and I think I've missed it each time.
Sorry, Alyssa.
But I'm just bum rushing through, and I'm looking primarily for questions that I feel like multiple of us can answer. Just because, I mean, it could just be Reed talking the entire time, but there will probably be some streams where it's mostly just Reed, or it's just a couple of us, because we won't always all make it to the stream. So you can save a lot of those questions when those moments happen. Reed, real quick, what would have happened if Sherwood and Greg failed to succeed escaping Arlen's grasps if they got caught?
In the makeshift Valsar tower?
Yep, and you got 1 minute.
They probably would have. I think the big reveal in the hideout would have been entirely different. They would have been confronted about their assistance or Tegan, any of that stuff. They probably would have found out right away.
Interesting.
But I think just because of how it played out with them assuming his intentions, and rightfully so, that was always a bit of a intentional red herring. Yeah, I think that their escape was funny and good, and it ended up playing the way it should have. But yeah, I think like the Solar and the Planetar, those other angels that ripped their wings off, that whole conversation could have been really fun, but just didn't happen.
Well, we love you guys. If we're still on, I don't know if it's ended yet, but we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
So, no idea if it ends or not, if it's stopped.
Might still be on.
Might be. Well, so because we set the time on
I said it at 8:15. I edited it to
on
8:15.
Google, like on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And what time is it now?
8:15.
Okay. We'll just keep this going until it cuts out.
I think I'm now looking at us talking about it cutting out.
Probably.
We might need to actually stop it. Like stop it.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the YouTube feed will die, but the Google Hangouts thing will keep going.
I don't know. I'm reloading the page just to see what happened.
If it hits 8:16, it's like
Yeah, it's still going. I don't know how to
If it looks, but it's not time yet because I'm not on my phone.
Are we still streaming?
what's that movie where they expect something terrible to happen, like, this is like Dark Knight, when the Joker's waiting for it to strike midnight and one of the ships is going to blow up the other ship and then nothing happens and it's all anticlimactic. That's what the end of this stream is, and I apologize. I wish I could blow up one of your ships.
They're holding out. I want to hear the Colonel talk about cheese.
That's
really wanted to hear you talk about cheese, and we never got
Yeah,
to.
I expect a cheese pun next time I see you.
I'm the
so
Colonel.
Do some research.
I
I'm
can't
sure
do the
there's
Colonel.
a
Yeah, come up
subreddit.
with a cheese pun.
Was
And
that
this is how you say it.
Was that your Colonel?
That was my best
Can you do
Colonel
that
voice.
again?
Yeah, one more time, please.
I'm the Colonel.
Okay, that was
My
better.
boy.
That was better than the
Hey, my boy.
Now it's just turning old.
It's fine.
To
I only have 3 voices. So
Talk to me, Gary. You have like 4 voices.
do I have 4?
Yeah. You got your deep voice, your female voice, and your regular read voice.
I told you guys that a lady called my friend Greg Gary, right? Yes. It was beautiful.
And Greg is the closest name in the real world to Greg.
Yeah.
Is it still streaming?
Dude, I have no
Yeah, I
idea.
think so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Peaches and gravy.
All right, I'm gonna shut the stream off. It's gonna get weird. I
Show your
apologize.
butt one more time.
Show my butt. I'm
Read,
Back up.
Read butt.
Read,
Read butt.
No, it's so dumb, so
Read
dumb.
Blanket.
butt.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Cover the camera. Cover the camera. Cover
You
your
don't-
shame.
You don't need to see this.
Oh.